Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Let's watch as these holy words are tested in modern times.
Well, hello, all you people and Trump supporters. Welcome either way. Today I want to talk to you about hecklers or perceived hecklers at pressers. Pressers slang for press briefing. Little speeches in front of the press where they may or may not open it up to questions after they're done saying what they got to say. From time to time, you get someone who intentionally heckles. You might get someone who intentionally disturbs, agitators. Sometimes you might get someone who just has questions, and because they showed up late or showed up after it started, they didn't really understand when the question session begins. So here you have a United States senator in a federal building. Federal buildings are very well secured. You can't bring in weapons unless you're like law enforcement or something to that effect. The United States senator, and you're in the same federal building as, say, a Senate confirmed cabinet position is giving a press conference. Okay, so by now you've heard about this. The senator goes into the press conference, presser, speech, whatever you want to call it. He's not there when it starts, so whether he deliberately heckled, whether he deliberately agitated, or he just spoke out of turn, it's not really clear, but we all know what happened by now. Most of you have seen probably several times the angles of behind the senator when the goons attacked him. He's announcing that he's a United States senator, and they take him outside. Now that they know he's a senator, they put him on the ground and put him in handcuffs. Okay. Let's take a look that's probably less known because everyone's focused on the action. Let's focus on cosplay Barbie. Her name is Kristi Noem. She likes to play dress up, and she's pretty ignorant. Let's go ahead and watch this angle.
Officers in the agencies and the departments and the military people that are working on this operation will continue to sustain and increase our operations in this city. We are not going away. We are staying here to liberate this city from the socialist and the burdensome leadership that this governor and that this mayor have placed on this country, and what they have tried.
Did an unelected member of the federal government, high ranking, just say she's going to liberate a city and a state from its duly elected officials? We're going to liberate it from the governor and the mayor. I missed that before. How did I miss that before? This truly is a federal government takeover of, hey, Confederates, where are you with your states' rights bullshit? Anyway, okay. You just started to hear the senator interrupt. Let's see what he has to say.
We are staying here to liberate this city from the socialist and the burdensome leadership that this governor and that this mayor have placed on this country, and what they have tried to insert into
I want to know
the
what you
city.
consist
So I want to say thank you to every single person that has been able to do this.
Hands up, hands up.
Also, I want to
I'm
talk
Senator Alex
specifically
Padilla. I have
to the
questions for
rioters and
the
to
secretary,
politicians
because the
that
fact of
have
the matter is, a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your.
I also want to talk about specifically how many of our ICE agents have been doxxed for doing their duty, how they have been targeted, and how their families have been put in jeopardy, and that we're not going to allow that anymore as well.
Okay, what you just saw was she's talking normally, and then she talks a little bit louder and a little bit faster. This is the point that she recognized the senator coming in the room. And then you hear the senator start to ask the question. can't really make out what the question is because as he starts talking, she talks even louder and faster. And that's pretty much the cue. And we know the rest of the story. The goons rough him up. He announces he's a senator. They drag him outside. They cuff him. They put him on the ground and they cuff him. And cosplay Barbie pretends like, I didn't know he was a senator. Okay, cosplay Barbie is a Senate-confirmed cabinet head. She's in charge of the Department of Homeland Security. When your livelihood depends, when that job depends on the senators voting for or against you, you need a majority. You kind of sort of know who the senators are. But let's add to that. There's 100 senators, but at this point, she's in the state of California, where there are only 2 senators. So really, what are the odds that she didn't know who that was when he walked in the room? Before he said anything, she starts talking a little bit faster and a little bit louder. And then when he starts talking, she gets even faster and louder. Kind of like Brick Jones. Yeah, kind of like Brick Jones. She's going to just talk louder and faster, which was the cue for the goons to do what the goons did. Okay. Hey, let's compare to, how about a mayor in the state of Oklahoma? Let's see when her presser is interrupted.
Those who wish to lead our nation must understand the importance of cities and their metropolitan areas. We need our next president, as well as the next Congress, to be our partners, to work in concert with us so that we can pave our streets.
She just ran right up there and got within inches of the mayors. Actually, it turns out this is a conference of mayors, several mayors.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here. Exactly.
At the top, up here to talk to them. Citizens. Citizens got something to say.
Hey, Tim.
How you doing, Mayor?
All right. So we need our next president, as well as the Congress, to be our partners, to work in concert with us so we can pave our streets, build more affordable housing, reform our police departments, and create good-paying.
Hold on, the rough stuff, the really, really rough stuff's about to happen, right?
More than any other group is in the political sphere right now is how we must work together. Our collective message, if you really care about. And next, we will have our vice president of our organization, Mayor Mick Cornett.
I did want to speak to the media today about some reforms we're looking for in the criminal.
Oh, okay, was that clickbait when I told you the rough's about to happen? There is no rough stuff. She actually stays up there the whole time. People gently try to tug her away. She resists. They leave her alone. Now, I get it. She wasn't yelling. She wasn't asking questions. They were able to talk over her. But, okay, what you just saw was the mayor's talking. She hasn't opened up the questions yet. And all of a sudden, this lady who's not known, she's not famous, she's not a senator, she's just an agitator, and she runs up to the podium. They just kind of keep an eye on her. And when she's inches from the podium, she suddenly turns to the audience and the cameras, and she holds up a sign. And you saw a gentleman kind of gently pull at her, and then the mayor and the other speakers decide just keep talking. Okay, we know we know what she represents and what she's doing. She's making a point with her sign, as the senator was making a point with his question that was talked over and louder, and then the goons got the signal to rough the senator up. Okay, that's 2 cases. One is Kristi Noem and how her goons handle things in this totalitarian world that we've found ourselves to be in. The other one's from a little while back. It's a mayor. I get it. Things aren't so secure for mayors. They are for a cabinet position head. Okay, I get the difference. Let's use another example. How about, hypothetically, you have a president. A president has a Secret Service detail, and all of a sudden, his presser is being interrupted by not one heckler, but a handful of hecklers. They have some very strong opinions. Let's see how this. Oh, wait a minute. Before I go any further, this one's a little bit more on topic. These hecklers are actually opposing something called deportation. Ooh, okay. Deportation is the issue, and the hecklers are heckling not Department of Homeland Security, not a mayor, but a president of the United States. Let's see how that's handled.
And most importantly, we will live up. Most importantly, we will live up. Most importantly, we will live up to our character as a nation.
I need your help. There are thousands of
That's exactly what we're talking about. Yeah.
every single day.
That's why we're here.
President, please use your executive order to halt deportation for all 11.5 undocumented immigrants in this country right now. We agree that we need to pass comprehensive immigration reform. At the same time, you have a power to stop deportation for all undocumented
Actually, I don't, and that's why we're here.
I need your help.
Okay.
Stop deportation! Stop deportation!
Thank you. All right.
Stop deportation!
What I'd like to do.
All right. The group of hecklers, their issues to stop deportations. Sounds very similar, doesn't it? Cosplay Barbie, Miss Dress Up Barbie, Miss Insecure, right wing maggot, insecure, wannabe authoritarian. Okay. All right. So your answer to a heckler that you don't know, one of the people who gave you your job, you don't know your employer, okay? You don't know one of your hiring interviewers, okay. So your job when he asks a question out of order, I don't know, and you don't know him, you have your goons tackle him after you hear that he's a United States Senator, allegedly you didn't know before that, they go ahead and they handcuff him anyway. So, and let's face it, Kristi, you're nobody. Let's say you're somebody like the President of the United States, the equivalent level as your orange idiot boss, the President of the United States, Secret Service all around him. These hecklers are giving him hell. Let's see how rough things get, because these hecklers, they have no right to be talking out of turn. They have no right to demand to stop deportations. How dare they? Let's handle these guys. This is how he handles it.
No, don't worry about it, guys. Okay, let me finish. Let me. How about these guys don't need to go. Let me finish. I respect the passion of these young people because they feel deeply about the concerns for their families. Now, what you need to know when I'm speaking as President of the United States and I come to this community is that if, in fact, I could solve all these problems without passing laws in Congress, then I would do so. But we're also a nation of laws. That's part of our tradition. And so the easy way out is to try to yell and pretend like I can do something by violating our laws. And what I'm proposing is the harder path, which is to use our democratic processes to achieve the same goal that you want to achieve. But it won't be as easy as just shouting. It requires us lobbying and getting it done.
Okay. Yeah. Now, usually when you see a presser that's interrupted by a heckler, an agitator, someone who's speaking out of turn, someone who's asking questions when it's not their turn, usually what I've seen is the person behind the podium, the person behind the microphone, will say, hold on. we'll get to questions later, or wait your turn, or like you just saw President Obama, hear them out. Hear them out. Now, people in my little corner of YouTube, we know a lot of First Amendment auditors. And when they come into examples of board meetings, town board meetings, school board meetings, pressers, usually on a much smaller scale than a Department of Homeland Security or a president, sometimes they get as high as mayor. You see both things happen. Sometimes you see them ignore them. Sometimes you see them let them talk. Sometimes you see them engagement for a while and then, okay, your time is up, stop. And you see them get arrested. You do see them get arrested. Now, I've been tracking, actually, Muxer and I stopped tracking a while ago, but when we first realized what YouTube's character name was, Benghazi Rabbit. Benghazi Rabbit and his First Amendment audit team went to some kind of, I don't know if it was a town board or school board meeting, and he held up a sign. And I can't remember what the sign said. It wasn't a very nice sign. It wasn't as nice as that lady's sign, but it was just a sign. He was being quiet like that lady. He got arrested. And last I heard, he was pending charges on that. You see a lot of arrests when they're not really being that disruptive. But one thing I've noticed, generally speaking, where you see the arrests or the people hosting the event escalating the issue are usually, I'm sorry, not necessarily Trump, but when you have red or blue, it's not the blue guys, it's the red guys. Benghazi Rabbit, I think, was in the Carolinas somewhere. You see this shit in Texas. You see this shit. I mean, you see it everywhere. But usually, if the hosting board or speaker or press, usually when it's a liberal person or a person more progressive, they either hear them out or ask them to wait their turn. And usually when they're more Republican, more conservative, like a lot of North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, Mississippi, the rural parts of Virginia or the rural parts of New York, there's usually arrest or escalations of some sort. And what you just saw was a current day Department of Homeland Security under this guy. She talked louder, she talked over him, she had him tackled, and even after they knew he was a United States Senator, they had him handcuffed. I think if they could figure out a way to charge him, they'd charge him. Just like the mayor of Newark, they charged him, but they had to drop it because they realized they had nothing on him. You can stand in public property. Okay, I'm rambling on, but you get the drift. You get the gist. Sure. Senator Padilla did speak out of turn. Why? Was he an agitator? Was he a detractor? Was he a heckler? Or was he just wanting a question answered and he was just out of turn? You saw how the right reacts. You know how the left reacts. And you hear that we're not in a totalitarian government under Mr. Trump. Well, okay. So I'm just putting this on the Finkel dunking channel. That's going to be more dunking on other channels and more more political stuff. And I'll try and keep the First Amendment audit, the cameras, the social experiment stuff over there on the main Finkel channel. I've been playing with the algorithms. They're not hurting, but you can help. You can help with the algorithm. There's a little thing that looks like this at the bottom. Click it. Or if you want, click that one. And you can click on the subscribe button. Yeah, you could click on that or that and watch another one of my videos. Until then, good luck. God bless. God bless America. And yeah, do that to Mr. Trump. Cheerio.